So if you remember, so we were discussing about like what is the, I mean, how the business decisions are taken, what is the project cycle for the business? It means if you take any project, right? So for the business, what is the cycle? So usually, so they'll collect the data from the different applications. So they'll hire the people for the specific, application, or maybe Android developers, or customized software developers, or particularly web developers. So this kind of a developers and all they will hire in that particular phase. And then in the next step, right? So we have DB administrators involved, and the ETL developers involved, or the data engineers. So for the ETL operations, after that they load the data into the data warehouse. Again, DB administrators, they will maintain this databases. Okay, and then after that we will involve in this step actually. So we'll extract the data from the warehouse, or sometimes we will not have this warehouse. So directly they will give the data to us, and from that we have to create the reports. So that is what this project cycle tells us. Okay, data is collected, and from that ETL is performed on top of that, and after the ETL operations, they load the data into the warehouse. So this is also a storage device. It means it is the server, and from there we pull the data and create the reports. And here we are using Power BI for doing that operations. It means for creating the reports, we are using the Power BI. Okay, now we'll jump into the Power BI, and this is Power BI is the tool from Microsoft. Okay, and it is completely visualization tool. So it means with the help of that we can analyze the data. So we can analyze the data and create the reports out of it. It means we can build the visuals out of it. So that is what it is. And when it comes to Power BI, so we have the building blocks. So just this class will be completely theoretical. So if you have any doubts in between, also you can ask me. So from next class onwards, we will be installing the software. So then you can practice on that. So it means I'll be explaining you how we take the data and what are the things we have. So for now, I'll be showing like what and all things are there in Power BI, what and all we need, for development or for sharing the reports with the end users. So we will discuss those concepts. So for now, as I said, this tool is from Microsoft, and when it comes to building blocks of Power BI, so these are the building blocks of Power BI. Like we have the visualizations. If you want to write it, you can write it. So we have visualizations, data sets, so or semantic model. So now we are calling them as semantic models, data sets or semantic model. Then we have reports, then we have dashboards, and then tiles. So you don't need to worry about these terminologies. You will get to know everything. So this is, once you complete the course, right, at the end of the course, you'll be, knowing what are the visualizations, what are the data sets or semantic models, or what are the dashboards, or what are the reports, and what are the tiles. So I don't need to explain in detail again for this now. So you'll be definitely getting know all these things actually. So once we complete the course. So one second, guys. I'm getting call. Yeah, I'm sorry. So these are the building blocks of Power BI. So if you want, you can note them. Okay. So what are the building blocks we have? Visualizations, data sets or semantic model, and then reports and dashboards and tiles. After that, when you actually jump into Power BI, so this is split into two different parts. Okay. So the Power BI is split into two different parts. One is Power BI desktop and another is Power BI service. Okay, Power BI we have in two different parts. One is Power BI desktop and in Power BI service. Okay, so the one is the desktop application, one is the desktop application, and another is the web application. So I'll show you both of them. So the desktop application is this one. See, this is the desktop application which will be installed in our machine and which is used for developing the reports or creating the reports. What we do with this means we extract the data from sources and we do the transformations, we do the modeling, and on top of that, we create this visuals actually. So this is the desktop that we use. It will be installed on our machine. So using this Power BI desktop, we will be creating the reports. And once we create the reports, right, we have to share them with the end users. From where we will share them with the end users means we have a separate application called Power BI service. So that is the web application. So that will not be installed in our machine. So we have to open our web browser and we have to go to that website. So we need to use app.powerbi.com for that. So if you use this URL, you will go to Power BI service. So there you can publish the reports into that and you can share from there. So these reports, these are the workspaces and these are the reports we have. So these reports, you can open it and you can interact or you can view them. And from here, if you want to share with the end users, you can share. So simply we have the share options and we need to do some configurations from here. So I'll be explaining that environment completely. So once we are done with the development, right? So when we move to service, so I'll be explaining like what all the components we have in service, what is the need of it, why we have to share from here. So everything I'll be explaining. So as of now, you just remember that we have two parts in Power BI. One is Power BI Desktop and another is Power BI Service. So Power BI Desktop is the application that will be installed in our machine. Using that, we will be creating the reports. And Power BI Service is the web application and it is used for sharing the reports with the end users. Okay, so it is a web application. It is used for sharing the reports with the end users. And again, again, so we'll come to Power BI desktop. So almost 90% of the course in Power BI will revolve around this Power BI desktop only because creating our reports is the main goal for us. Okay, so for that, when it comes to Power BI desktop, so again, we have a different components in it. Okay, so we have a Power BI desktop, and again in that we have a different components. So what are the components in Power BI desktop? See, these are the components in Power BI desktop. Okay, Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, and Power Q&A. Okay, Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, Power Q&A. So these are the components of Power BI desktop that we have. Okay, I'll open the Power BI desktop and I'll show you. See, this is the Power BI desktop, right? For the first time, if you open the Power BI desktop, I'll show how it will be. Okay, so for the first time, if you want to open the Power BI desktop, you can use search box and search for it. So in between, if you have any confusions, right, you can ask me. You can stop and you can ask me.
Uh,
Yeah.
Sir, we'll get this theoretical notes, huh?
Notes is not required for this, right? Simply like what I am explaining is like what we have here. You can note it down, so you can have the running notes for this. So if you want any definitions, all later we can do.
Oh,
No
okay.
need,
Thank
no need to worry about it. Okay, so for the first time, if you are opening the Power BI desktop, this is how it will be. Like we have the different options here. We will be going through each and every option in the course. Okay, so if you open the desktop, this is how it looks like. Just remember it. And then we have a different components for it. So a Power Query, so as I was explaining in the previous slide, so we have a Power Query, so which is the data transformation tool. Okay, data transformation tool, so we can do the transformations in it using the Power Query. So for example, if you are getting the data from the source, right, so we cannot say it is completely always clean. So we may need to do some transformations. It means we may need to clean up the data. So to clean that data, we will be using this Power Query editor. So here we can clean the data. It means we can choose the columns, or we can remove the unwanted columns, or we can split the column, we can apply the group by, or we can change the data types and we can replace the values for them. So we can convert the headers, or we can change the sources, we can create the parameters, we can combine multiple tables. So these all things comes under the transformations. Okay, these all things comes under the transformations. Where we do the transformations in the Power BI means, so in the Power BI desktop, in the Power BI desktop again we have another option component called, that is Power Query Editor. So using Power Query Editor we can do transformations to our data. It means we can shape up our data. So if the data is already clean means you don't need to perform any transformations. You can directly jump into the next step. So but sometimes, like when you are working with Excel data, or when you are working with the text files or CSV files or any SharePoint data, so or sometimes for the database objects also, you may need to perform some transformations. So for doing the transformations, what we will do means we will use the Power Query Editor in the Power BI desktop. Okay, so that is a completely transformation tool, and again we will discuss each and every option in it, whatever required for us to work actually. So that is Power Query Editor in the Power BI desktop. And Power Pivot. So it is data modeling component in Power BI desktop. It means when you have the related data, it means in multiple tables. So it means actually we will get the data in multiple tables. So for example, if you take any business or any project, so they will not store all their data in one table because of performance issues or because of some other factors. What they will do means they will split the data into multiple tables. So for example, if I say, so we have the employee table. So in the employee table, we will have the employee name, employee ID, and employee details like date of joining or date of birth, whatever. So all these details we will have in the employee table. And assume that there is another table called attendance table. Okay, assume that there is another table called attendance table. So if you are taking attendance for any employee, or you can take any school. So if you are taking any attendance, what and all details you will capture from the students or from the employees? Can anyone tell me what all details we capture from the students for the, I mean, if you are taking attendance in the class?
At what time the student is coming and at what
Uh-huh.
time he is going?
How you are identifying that student?
By name, by registered number.
So usually what we will do means we will identify the person with the ID number or the registered ID number we will take, and by that we will take the attendance. So for taking attendance, are you taking all his details like what is his date of birth, what is his address, or what is his uh, you know location? So are you taking all of this or only his ID?
Only his ID, sir.
Only his ID. So today he is coming means, so we'll just call ID, and if he is coming, I mean he came means we will mark as yes. And tomorrow also we will call his ID. If he came means, so we will mark it as yes. So every day it will be repeated. So for this. So for the same person, so today will come, tomorrow he will come or he may not come. Day after tomorrow he will come or he may not come. So for every time we cannot have all his details in the particular table. So what we will have means in the register simply his ID and his respective attendance for that particular day. So we cannot store the same information. It means the complete information for the same person every day. So that is why what we will do means we will have the student information in one table or employee information in one table. So if needed, so if I say one ID like 101, who is this 101? So if the question comes, who is this 101 means what we will do, we will take that ID from the attendance table. And so, for example, assume that the student is not coming for one day, or maybe 2 days, or 3 days, or 1 month. So, if he's not coming, so we need to inform his parents. So, where we will have that parent information means we will not store that into the attendance table. In attendance table, we have the ID and the respective date and the attendance for that. So, he is not coming. If an ID person is not coming for a particular number of days, means we have to inform their parents. So, where we'll have the parents number or parents details. So, we'll have in the student table. So, with that ID, we will search in the student table, and from there we will pick the parent ID, parent mobile number. From there we can inform them. That is what we will do. So instead of that, if you take, I mean, if you try to take all the data into a single table, it means in the employee table, I mean, in the attendance table itself, if you are taking student ID, parent number, parent address details, or everything, if you are taking on the same table, so every day you have to repeat the same information. Instead of ID, you have to write all this information for that student. Like this, what you are doing means the duplicates are getting increased and the data size is getting increased. So because of that, there is no use actually. So performance will be reduced. That is why what they will do means they will split the information into multiple tables to optimize the storage and all. So that's why we have a separate information, I mean student information into one table and respective attendance information into another table. So that's why we split the data. Okay, when you get that related data, now I said, right, so if a person is not coming for 30 days and we need to inform his parents, so where we have that parents information means in the first table, it means the student information table. So by taking ID from here, we have to identify the parent number from the other table. So for doing this, we will not combine the tables physically. What we will do means we will create a relationship among them. So it means if I choose ID, one ID from here, from the right table, from the left table, it has to pick the related students information. So if I combine, if I join them, again, it will be same. It means all the data will come into a single table, and again, it will cause the performance issue. That's why instead of combining the tables physically, what I'll do means I'll create relationships among them. So I'll establish a relationship like this on student ID. So if I say 101 from here, so it has to take 101 from this table, and from that table, it has to pick the respective student information. So using that, I can inform to the parents and I can get to know like what is the reason why he's not coming and all. I can get to know from them. So that is how what we'll do means instead of combining tables physically, we will define the relationships. It means we create relationship among the tables so that if I pick one ID from here, the related values from the other tables will be picked and we can display them on the front end. That is why this is called modeling. It means instead of combining tables physically, we will define the logical relationship among the tables. So this process is called modeling. So we will again discuss about it. So for now, just remember that when you have the related tables, so we will need to create a relationship. And if the tables are completely independent, so it means one table is not related to another table. In that cases, we don't need any relationships. It means we don't need any model. So if the requirements are different or if the tables are different, they are not related means we don't need to define the relationship. And for creating this data model, where we will do means we have an option component called power pivot. So in the power pivot, we will be defining the data modeling. Data modeling is nothing but when you have the related tables, we will connect the tables logically instead of combining them physically. So that is called power pivot. So we have a Power Query for transformations, and Power Pivot for modeling. And we have another option called Power View. So which is the data visualization tool. So when it comes to desktop, see, this is the Power Pivot and this is the Power Query. And if you come to this view, here we have this component called visualization component. So from here only, we will pick the visuals and we will give the data input as for them. So for example, if I take a sample data from here, I'll show you like just one example. I'm just importing the sample data. So if I'll take the visuals from here, for example, if I take a pie chart, so I'll take the pie chart and give inputs from here. Yeah, so see, I've created a visual out of it. So from where we are taking the visuals means, so this is Power View. So this component is called Power View. From here, we will pick the visuals. It means the graphs. Visual is nothing but the graph. So we will pick the graph or chart. We can call anything. So from here, we will pick the visuals and we'll give the inputs for them. So this component is called Power View. Okay, so we have seen what is Power Query Editor, so which is the transformation tool, and what is Power Pivot, which is the modeling component. And now we are seeing Power View, so which is the visualization component. So what and all visuals we have and all. So we can pick whatever needed for us, and for that we will give input from the data. Okay, so that is Power View. And in Power View, again, we have Power Map and Power Q&A. So these two are the visuals inside this Power View only, but they have added them as the separate components. But when it comes to Power Map, what is Power Map means? So when you have the geographical information, so geographical information means, see, this is the Power Map. Geographical information means if you have the temperature information, how they will explain in the news channels. So they will take a map for that particular place, and from the for that map, so they'll be explaining like what are the temperatures, highest and lowest temperatures and all. They'll be explaining you. So for that, so what it will do means it will take the world map out of that. So if your business is across different regions, or if you have the data across different regions, and if you want to analyze it geographically, then you can use the power map, and using that power map you can represent the geographical information. So for that we have a separate visual. And power Q&A, so it is like a natural search engine. So like it means like how we have the Google, right? So in the same way we can ask questions about our data. That means whatever data we are importing into the file, so about that data, if you have any questions, you can ask them. So if it can understand your question, it means you can search in natural language. So if it can understand your question, it will be giving you the results for it, just like how search engine works, right? So but the limitation is you have to ask questions only about your data that you have imported into the file. So you cannot ask outside of that, like just like how we have Google, right? So we cannot ask outside of that particular data what we are providing. So these are the major components in Power BI desktop. Like one is Power Query. So what is the Power Query use? Why it is used for?
For
Transformation
transformation
For
tool,
transformation. And what is Power Pivot? It is the
data
modeling
modeling,
tool. So
model
for doing the modeling, it
component.
means when we have the related data, we need to build the model. So then we use the Power Pivot. And Power View is for
visualization.
yeah, so it is used for building the visuals. So we can take the charts or the visuals, and we can give the data as the input, and we can build the visuals out of it. And Power Map and Power Q&A are again visuals in Power View, and Power Map is used for representing the geographical information, and Power Q&A is used for searching the data. It means if you have any questions about your data, like what are the total sales for this country, or what are the total sales, or what is the total profit that I got from the business. So like this, if you have a data, right, out of that data, if you have any questions, you can ask them. And if it is able to understand your data, I mean the inputs, so what it will do means it will transform it technically, and it will try to display the related numbers or the related values. So maybe what is the top country which is having highest sales, what is the lowest country which is having lowest sales and all. You can ask it. So if it can understand it, and if you have the related columns for it, and it can give you the output. Okay, so that is an extra feature. So like this, we have a components in Power BI desktop. And as I mentioned, the service platform is completely cloud-based, and it means the Power BI services. Since the tool is from the Microsoft, this Power BI service is hosted in the Azure environment. So Microsoft Azure is there, right? So it is the storage. So there it is hosted actually. So all our files, whatever we are publishing, it will be published into Power BI service only. And this is not free. The Power BI service what we have is, right, this is not for free. So we have to buy license for using Power BI service. And for using Power BI desktop, you don't need any license. It means you can create the reports from the Power BI desktop. So you can directly install it from the web, and from there you can do the development. So for publishing the reports and for sharing the reports with the end users, you need a license. Okay, so if you want to publish the reports into Power BI service, you need a license. So we'll be discussing what are the licenses we have. So what license we need for publishing, and from there how we can share. So does end user also need a license and all? We can discuss. For now, just remember that Power BI service is the sharing platform, and it is a web application, and it is hosted in the Azure. And for using that, we need a license. So apart from that, we also have the mobile app. So this is for the end users. It means you can download it from the Play Store or Android store. So from there, like you can log in with your credentials, and it is designed for the end users. So you cannot do any development, or you cannot do anything from here. Simply, if you have the service account, so you can log in from the service account. So instead of watching in the web, right? It means if you don't have the laptop with you or the device with you right now, so you can log in through mobile app, and you can see the report in live. So it means how it is, having the sales and all. So you can observe about your data. It means whatever the report that we are seeing here, right? So the same report you can see in the mobile application. So just for consuming the reports, so instead of a laptop or a system, so you can use the mobile app, and from there you can consume the reports. So that is designed for the end users. So you cannot perform any development activities using the mobile app. It is completely for the end users. So if they don't want to use the service, means if they don't have the machine with them, so they can use the mobile app, and from there they can view the reports. Even we can also install it. I mean, we can also see how the reports are viewing in the mobile app and all, but it is mainly designed for the end users. As a developer, however, we'll have the license and we can view the reports using this mobile app also. So these are all the components we have in the Power BI desktop. Mainly, Power BI is designed into two parts. So one is Power BI desktop and another is Power BI service. And Power BI desktop is completely free and it is completely used for developing the reports. Okay. And when it comes to Power BI desktop, again, we have a 5 different components. One is Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, Power Map, and Power Q&A. So these are the 5 different components we have. And then service is the cloud platform. It means that is a web-based application where we can publish the reports and we can share them with the end users. We need to refresh them and we'll do all so many activities over there. I'll be explaining you all of them. Then the mobile app is for the end users to consume the reports from the Power BI service. They can install this application and they can consume. Okay. And when it comes to the actual workflow, so this is what we follow when you are developing any report, even in the training. So we will follow the same flow. It means, so we have a 5 steps in our report generation. We have to follow these 5 steps whenever you are developing any report in Power BI. The first thing is, it means that before importing the data, you have to finalize what all the details the client is expecting. Okay, what all the details, it means what all the KPIs or what are the metrics that client is expecting. You have to first analyze the data. It means analyze the requirements and analyze the data. It means from the source, that can be Excel or that can be database or SQL server or Oracle server, anything. So there we will have the data in table format. So sometimes we'll have the comma separated values, or sometimes we'll have the JSON data, so JSON files. So whatever, like the data will be there. First thing is we have to analyze the data. Out of that, for our requirement, what all tables needed. So you have to finalize like what all tables needed for us. And then as a first step in Power BI desktop, what we will do means we will import the data into Power BI. That is the first step that we follow. So there are so many steps that we can do. It means for connecting with Excel, we have one process, and for connecting with databases, we have a one process. So we will be explaining, I mean, discussing about them, like how we connect with the databases, how we connect with Excel data and all. We will be discussing. So we will connect with the respective database or respective data source and import the data into Power BI. It means we need data, right, for creating a report. So for that, we will be importing the data. After that, what we will do means, so we have the component called Power Query Editor, right? So using that, if we need any data transformations, it means there are errors or there are missing values, there are blank values, or there are any changes that we need to perform, or we may need to calculate additional columns, or we may need to change the format for the existing data, or we may need to change the data types for them. So there are some kind of transformations that we may need to do. So for that, we use the Power Query Editor and we make the transformations. So that is the second step that we do in our workflow. So first we have to import the data, whatever needed for us, and then we go for the transformations. And then if we have the related data in our tables, then we will create the relationships. So we build the model out of it. So that is the third step that we follow. So we build the model. It means we'll connect the related tables using the relationships. So that is modeling. And then finally, we will come to Power View. So from here, we will import the data from the sources. And as a next step, we'll go to Power Query Editor. That is the second step. And once we are done with the transformations, we'll come to modeling. So using the Power Pivot, we'll come to the modeling. Okay. And we build the relationships among them. And finally, using Power View, that is the fourth step. So using the Power View, we build the visualizations. Okay, once we are done with the complete development, visualization development and formatting, adding the titles and formatting the pages, once we are done with all of this in the desktop, then in the final step we'll move into Power BI service. It means we'll publish the reports into Power BI service. See, this is the service environment. So here we will publish the reports. So we will have a folders kind of environment. So into that folders, we will be publishing a report. From here, we will be sharing with the end users. That is the final step. It means before that we'll have the testing and all we have to do. It means whether the numbers that are coming are correct or not, like we have to verify. Then only we will publish the reports into Power BI service. Okay, this is the workflow that we have to follow when you are creating any report. So first you have to import the data. It means before that you have to analyze it and identify what all tables needed for us. Then in Power BI, you have to import the data and perform the transformations and then do the modeling if required, and then create the visuals out of it, what all needed for the end users, and do the formatting and background images or the titles for the page. So sizes for them, font sizes, font type, everything. So if there is any dynamic functionality required and all, we will do. And then finally, we will publish the reports into Power BI service. So this is what we follow in the workflow. So it means with the help of Power BI, we can create interactive reports. So interactive in the sense, for example, if I want to filter the data for specific country, so what I'll do means I can slice it to specific country, see. Or if I want to filter the data for specific product, yeah. So I can filter for the specific product and I can just highlight it. So for example, if I want to filter for only Canada on the other visuals, so it means cross filtering is there, cross highlighting is there, and filtering concept is there. So static means simply if I give a printout out of it, it means if I take a this page and if I give a printout to you in a paper, so whatever information is there in the paper, only that thing you can see, and you cannot see what is the respective sales for this and what is the related value for on the other visuals of for this. So you cannot see anything on that. So those are the static. But when it comes to this Power BI, right, we will be sharing directly this report itself. So using this report, using the Power BI service, what you will do means you can interact with the report. It means you can apply the filters needed for you, or you can take the slicers, or so from the slicers also you can filter the data whatever needed for you. You can apply the date ranges, and within that date range you can see that, and you can apply the numerical ranges, so within that you can filter out the data. So it means we can interact with the report and we can analyze whatever needed for us. Okay, so then it will bring the good outputs actually. So that taking decisions for the users will be easy, like if they can dive into the data. So if it is just a static number, so it means they cannot deep dive into the data and they cannot understand the business properly. But if we give the interactive report, right, so they can do their own things on the front end, so they can interact with it and they can take the business decisions out of it. So that's why with the help of Power BI, we can build the interactive reports. They are not static, they are interactive. So we can slice and dice the data and we can see the detailed information. Okay, and this is the flow. And after that, what we will do means we will jump into the Power BI desktop, we will install it, and from there we will be like discussing like what is the environment and what and all things are there in that environment. So apart from these components, like what is this SQL server, or what is this enter data, and what is this data, like what are the views we have, and so what is this modeling, what is this view. So all these things we will be discussing one by one, like as per the flow, right? So first we will import the data required for us, then we will go to the Power Query, then we will go to the modeling, and then we'll come to the visualization. So on the visualization page, when we are discussing about this, we'll be discussing about the formatting and the DAX functions. So like what and all DAX, what are the DAX and what are the DAX functions, and what is needed in that. So what is the help of this modeling view? So what we do with that, how the security implementation can be done. So all these things we will discuss after completing the visualizations. Then we will publish the reports into Power BI service, and from there we need to set up the workspaces, gateways, and to refresh the data up to date, keep the data up to date. We refresh it. So we do all those activities in the service. So one by one we will go as per the development. So the same same workflow whatever we are following in the classes, right? So while developing the reports in real time, you can follow the same process. So once we are done with the training, so I'll again give you the project actually. So I'll take a project and I'll be explaining you, so that you can use the same in our resume, or you can have the similar structured data or similar structured project created on your own, and you can upload it in the resume. So this is how we follow from now. So to install the Power BI desktop, right? So everyone please go to this one. So this website, or else you go to Google, download Power BI desktop. So it is simple only. You go to this official website and from there you just download the Power BI desktop. See, you'll have this download option in the first link itself. If you click that, you can download it. So if you have the system in front of you, you download it now only. Just let me know if you have any complications in it. If you are seeing any errors and all, let me know. You try to download it. Go to Google and search for download Power BI desktop and install it and let me know if you are facing any issues. I'll wait for some time. Meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. For today, so this is the theoretical session that we have, and from tomorrow, so we'll jump into Power BI desktop and I'll show you like how we import the data from Excel and the database and all. I'll be explaining you like what and all ways we have. So how to import the data and all, I'll be explaining you. Okay, just start installing the software. You can ask me if you have any doubts in between. Anyone? And this class will be online for few days. Hardly, I mean, for 1 week to 2 weeks, like it will be online since I got stuck in Hyderabad. So I'll be back in 2 weeks over there. So after that, we can again meet physically, I mean, in the classroom, and then we'll have the offline training as well. So you don't need to worry about it. Like if you have any doubts directly, you can ask me in the class. I can be explaining you. So if you have any doubts apart from this, like once we back to Bangalore, right? So then also we can connect and we can see if you have any doubts in the institute itself. Please remember that for a few days it will be online.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm also not
Timing
coming
is
to
same.
Bangalore. So causes I'm also in Hyderabad.
Okay.
So
Okay.
definitely I'm not able to come to Bangalore.
Yeah,
So
that is fine. That is completely fine. The same class, right? So we'll be connecting to the monitor, and from there, like we'll be explaining to the students the same
okay.
class. Like we don't have separate class for that.
Okay.
So it will be same. Yeah. Thing is, some people will like expect some physical appearance, right? That's why I'm telling you them. So I'll stop the recording here. So since we are not discussing anything about the class, so just do start the installation.